Hey, Steve Mignani here in Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts, doing the junkyard crawl with a 1971 Chevy El Camino. Now, we all know that Ford kind of started the utility pickup party in 1957 with the Ranchero, and yes, we know that our treasured Australian viewers, the Ute was a thing in Australia back in the 30s, which is a car pickup truck. But here in the States, 57 Ford's Ranchero started the ball rolling. Chevy answered in 59 with a full-sized El Camino. Well, this is a third generation El Camino here in 1971, and indeed it is a pickup truck and it's a car all in one. And these were very popular with well, single people and also construction contractor types, building contractors who treasured the comfort and the utility. Now here's the thing, don't make the mistake of assuming this is just a Chevelle with a pickup truck bed. These actually ride on a 116-inch wheelbase, which is 4 inches longer than a Chevelle. These actually ride on a 4-door or station wagon wheelbase and frame. So don't make that mistake. It's more than a Chevelle with a pickup truck bed. It's actually a 4-door wagon without the back of the wagon is kind of more like it. But this does have some interesting features. It presents like it might be a Super Sport. I say that for a few reasons. First off, the domed hood. You know, that's something that was part of the Super Sport package. And in 1971, the SS did not mean 396, 402, or 454. You could get the 352 barrel, any optional V8, not the 307, but any 350 or 402 or 454 could be had as a Super Sport. So this could be a Super Sport. It doesn't, though, have the SS logos here, and the fenders don't seem to have been filled. Kind of weird. Now these wheels are not correct. A Super Sport would have had 5-spoke wheels, so this is a bit of a this and that. Let's take a look at the grille. Now let's remember that 1971, they went to 2 headlights instead of 4 on Chevelle, El Camino, etc. But we'd see an SS emblem right here and a blacked out effect if this was actually a Super Sport. But with all that said, it's been 50 years since this thing was new, and it's conceivable it was in an accident in 1979 or got a new grille and new hood. Who knows? But let's look at what we have now. Yeah, okay. Whew. Yep, okay. This is a 352 barrel. Yeah, it's the garden variety. Now the 307 was the base engine. Somebody did add an HEI, which is high energy ignition, getting rid of the points. That would arrive in 75. So it's been retrofitted onto this. Power disc brakes, power steering, no air conditioning on this one. But here's a look here, by the way, of the underside of the ZL2 SS hood, but not the cowl induction type. On a cowl induction one, you'd have a duct welded in here that would match to the air cleaner, and there'd be a couple of doors here. The domed hood, the basic Super Sport hood, has a block-off plate. Doesn't do anything but look cool and sell vehicles. Now again, I'm not sure this is the original hood to this car. I do see traces of blue paint. This car, I think, was once burgundy, so it's possible this was added by somebody who wanted a Super Sport vibe. Let's look around here. Now the doors on these, we all know that Chevelle, second generation, arrived in 1968. They all had vent windows, but for 69, the vent windows went away. Well, except for 4 doors, wagons, and El Caminos. This vent window here in 1971 on a 2-door wouldn't be there. But this is a relic of the fact that the vent window remained on Malibu, Chevelle, El Camino, all the way through 1972. But the 2-door models did not have that. They had Astro flow-through ventilation. Okay, inside, let's trade places. And there it is, the close coupled cockpit, so to speak, of the El Camino. Stripped out. This probably was a bench seat vehicle. I see a column shifted automatic. You could get a 4-speed. You could get a console if you wanted it. And again, this does have the unusual tilt column. Kind of cool right there. Nice option. But we do see something weird on this one here. Tachometer and gauges. Now you might say, okay, Super Sport, right? Well, not necessarily. There's a thing called the U14 gauge package, which could be had on any El Camino, and perhaps it was added, perhaps it was factory, don't know, but we do see the tachometer has a 5,000 RPM red line. That tells us it's 350 or small block. 5,500 RPM would be the big block. So, it's a strike against this being an SS 396 or SS 454 hiding in plain sight, or even a Super Sport. Again, we don't see the 12-bolt rear axle. This has a 10-bolt in the back. So it's probably just a nicely optioned 350 El Camino automatic, as most of them were. But one thing about this, again, keep in mind, this rides on a 116-inch wheelbase, 4 inches longer than a Malibu 2-door, and all that distance is here. And this is also where on a 4-door wagon, the rear doors would open, and inside the bed, this thing right here, this is a separate panel right here, this whole area right here. And this actually can be removed. And if you take this off, what you'll find is a footwell that doesn't get any use at all. But that's where the back seat passengers would put their legs on a four-door wagon. So it's kind of weird that Chevrolet used the same hollow area there, but didn't really access it for any utility. But there it is. Now this is kind of interesting on the back. Yeah, we don't see the Super Sport logo on the tailgate. It would be in the middle here. We see Chevrolet instead. So yeah, we're looking at a regular El Camino. The SS would replace this, S and S, if this was truly a 71 Super Sport. But you could get a 350 two-barrel Super Sport in 71. It was possible, but this ain't one of them, I don't think. Here we have, oh, look at this, a satellite dish. This is kind of weird. I always wonder, what the heck's inside of these? These are often found on the tops of RVs and campers. And inside, there's the dish. Kind of delicate stuff. You don't really want this stuff getting rained on and all that kind of stuff, although it does see a lot of heat. Can you imagine this thing in Sedona, Arizona, in the middle of August? It's got to be 170 degrees inside of this thing, but you know, anyway, here's the dome. Just weird stuff in the back of the El Camino. Now the wheels on this one, again, are not correct for a 1971 SS Super Sport. That would have been a 5-spoke style steel wheel. These are more typical seen on 1967, 8, 9, and 70, you know, Corvettes, Z28s, that sort of a thing. So these wheels have been added. So whoever owned this probably had a sense of appreciation for GM. In fact, the right front tire and wheel, yet another greatest hits. This wheel here is a styled steel rim, but if you know your Buick Grand Sports, that is a Buick GS, or basically the styled steel wheel, but that's a Buick wheel. But again, it has the same 5-on, 4 and a 3/4 inch bolt pattern. So the GM intermediate wheels are all interchangeable. Case in point right here. So again, it's pretty cool. But again, the cowl induction style domed hood, let's take a peek here. This one, again, does not have the flipper door that would be part of the cowl induction system. So same skin, similar underpinnings, but again, this is the basic Super Sport hood. You paid extra for ZL2 cowl induction in 1970, 71, and even 72. But that's the story of this 1971 third generation El Camino. Don't call it a Chevelle with an extra, without the roof. It's actually more like a station wagon that's been sliced down because it's got a longer wheelbase. And these also have a boxed frame, all El Caminos. And again, the boxed frame means the side rails are not C sections. They're actually boxed for rigidity. Again, it is a truck, so Chevrolet wanted to be sure these things wouldn't flex and creak and tweak. So when you need a boxed frame, you can actually, I've known of people taking these El Camino frames, chopping them down 4 inches and using them as the heavy-duty box frame under their 2-door Malibus. Although the Malibu could be had with a box frame for like $5. It was a pretty rare factory option, but again, all of these things have box frames, so they're a little stronger than would be a 2-door Chevelle or a convertible. A convertible frame is also boxed. But anyway, that's the story of this 1971 El Camino here in the junkyard. Not a Super Sport, kind of looks it, but it has the U14 gauge package. Kind of weird, kind of cool. You never know what you're going to find in the junkyard. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Man's YouTube channel and plenty more.